The envelope had the school's gold seal on it. Official. Formal. My name typed at the top. Mr. Robert Patterson, Parent Guardian, Westfield Academy. I set down my coffee and opened it at the kitchen table. The same table where Rebecca used to sit. The same chair where she had made every important decision of our life together. I read it once. Then I read it again. Then I folded it carefully, put it back in the envelope, and sat very still for a long time. Outside the window, the morning was quiet, ordinary. The kind of morning that has no idea it is about to become something a person remembers for the rest of their life. My daughter Sarah works double shifts at Mercy General. Registered nurse, 34 years old, raises Liam alone. His father left when Liam was 2 and has not been particularly present since. Liam is 9, curious about everything, asks questions constantly, has his grandmother's eyes and her habit of watching people carefully before deciding what to think of them. 3 mornings a week, I drive him to Westfield Academy. 3 afternoons, I pick him up. Westfield Academy is a private school, the kind with a Latin motto above the door and a waiting list and parents who arrive in cars that cost more than most people's houses. Liam was there because of Rebecca. 8 years ago, in the last months of her life, she had established the Sullivan Education Fund, named after her maiden name. She had put aside a significant portion of her life insurance for it, enough to cover Liam's education entirely. Every child deserves a real chance, she had told me, especially ours. What nobody at Westfield Academy knew, what I had kept entirely private through the foundation structure James had set up, was that the Sullivan Education Fund had done something else 3 years ago, something larger. But I will get to that. The letter asked me to come in Thursday morning. Principal Davies was a precise woman, 52, immaculate office, the kind of person who had spent a career managing appearances as carefully as outcomes. She gestured to the chair across from her desk. "Mr. Patterson, thank you for coming in." "Of course," I said. She folded her hands, smiled the way people smile when they have decided in advance how a conversation will go. "We have our spring gala coming up. It's our most important parent event of the year. Board members attend, major donors, community figures." "I'm aware," I said. "I received the invitation." "Yes." She paused. "We've received some feedback from certain parents about presentation standards at formal events." "Presentation standards," I repeated. "Westfield has a certain image. We've worked very hard to maintain it. Our parent community has specific expectations about how our events represent the school." She looked at me directly. "I think you understand what I'm saying, Mr. Patterson. A man in your position, a man like you, might find these events more comfortable to sit out. We want everyone to feel at ease, including you." She said it gently, carefully, the way a person says something that would look reasonable written down. I understood every word of what she was actually saying. I looked at her for a moment. Then I smiled. "Thank you for your time, Principal Davies," I said. I stood up, shook her hand, walked out through the front entrance into the morning air, got into my truck, sat there for a while. That afternoon, I picked Liam up at the usual time. He climbed into the truck, dropped his backpack on the floor, and looked at me the way his grandmother used to, carefully, before deciding what to say. "Grandpa, are you sad?" "No," I said. "I'm thinking." "About what?" "About what the right thing to do is." He considered this seriously. Grandma always said the right thing and the easy thing are usually different things. I looked at my grandson, 9 years old. She did say that, I said. So, what's the hard thing? He asked. I pulled out of the school parking lot. Speaking up, I said, when it would be easier to stay quiet. He nodded like this made complete sense and turned to look out the window. I drove home thinking about Rebecca, about what she would have done, about the letter in my jacket pocket and the decision I had not yet made. That evening, I sat in her chair for a long time. I am not a man who looks for confrontation. 40 years of quiet work had taught me that most battles are not worth the energy they cost, that dignity does not require an audience. I almost did nothing. I had almost convinced myself that Liam's education was worth the silence, that some walls were not worth pushing against, that I was 68 years old and tired. Then I thought about what Principal Davies had said, a man like you, and I thought about the other grandfathers, the other parents who did not have what I had, who received the same coded message and had nowhere to send it. I got up, went to the desk, took out a piece of paper, and I wrote a letter to Mr. Gerald Chin, chairman of the Westfield Academy Board of Directors. I included Principal Davies' letter as an attachment. I described our meeting in precise detail. I explained what had been said and what had been meant by it. And then I signed it. Robert Patterson, Trustee, Sullivan Education Fund. What Principal Davies did not know, what almost nobody knew, was that 3 years ago the Sullivan Education Fund had made a donation to Westfield Academy, $340,000. It had funded the construction of the entire East Wing Science Facility, the one with the new laboratory where Liam's class met every Tuesday and Thursday, the one with the small brass plaque beside the entrance that read, "In memory of Rebecca Sullivan Patterson, who believed every child deserves a real chance." The donation had been processed through the foundation, publicly anonymous, but Mr. Chin knew. He had known since the day the wire transfer cleared. He had personally written a letter of gratitude to James Whitfield's office. He had never disclosed the donor's identity at board level, as the foundation had requested. He read my letter on a Friday morning. I was told he read it twice. Then he picked up the phone, not to call me, to call the board's legal counsel. On Monday morning, Principal Davies was asked to appear before an emergency session of the Westfield Academy Board of Directors. Not to be removed, not immediately, but to explain. The board had received my letter. They had reviewed her written communication to me. They had pulled 3 prior complaints from parents, families who had received similar suggestions about certain events and had said nothing because they had nowhere to go. A formal review was opened. I received a call from Mr. Chin that afternoon. "Mr. Patterson, I want to apologize personally. What was communicated to you was unacceptable. It does not represent this institution." "I appreciate that," I said. "I also want to say, on behalf of the board, that your family's contribution to this school has meant more than I can adequately express. The science wing has served over 400 students. Rebecca's name is on that building. It will remain there." I did not say anything for a moment. "She would have liked knowing that," I said finally. The formal review concluded 6 weeks later. Principal Davies was required to complete institutional bias training. A new parent inclusion policy was implemented across all school events. 3 families who had been quietly discouraged from attending events in previous years received formal written apologies. Davies retained her position. That was not what I had wanted taken from her. What I had wanted was accountability, and a policy that made it harder to do to the next grandfather what she had tried to do to me. Over the 6 weeks of the review, my phone recorded 43 missed calls, 39 from Davies' personal attorney, 4 from Davies herself. I did not return a single one. James handled everything. The spring gala was held 6 weeks after my meeting with Principal Davies. I attended. Dark blue suit. Rebecca's choice. The one she said made me look like a man who had built something real. I sat at a table near the back and drank my coffee and watched 200 parents in formal wear move through the Westfield Academy atrium. At 7:30, Mr. Chen found me at my table. He shook my hand for a long time. "I'm glad you're here," he said simply. "So am I," I said. At 8 o'clock, Liam's class performed a short science presentation in the East Wing. Something about the water cycle. Models they had built themselves. Liam's was slightly lopsided, and he was extremely proud of it. Afterward, he found me in the corridor outside the laboratory. He looked up at the brass plaque beside the door. Rebecca Sullivan Patterson. He had seen it before, many times. But tonight, he stood in front of it for a moment longer than usual. "That's Grandma," he said. "Yes," I said. "She built this?" "She made it possible," I said. "There's a difference." He thought about this carefully. "What's the difference?" I looked at my grandson standing in the corridor his grandmother had made possible without ever seeing it. "Building something," I said, "means you were there. Making something possible means it keeps going after you're gone." He nodded slowly. Then he took my hand and we walked back toward the atrium together. Outside, through the tall windows, the evening was clear and still. "Rest easy, Rebecca. He's learning. We both are." Was this revenge perfectly justified? Or should the storm have raged harder? Drop your verdict below. I read every single one. Hit like if you crave justice, and share this story with someone who needs its fire. Subscribe to Lauren's Story, because here, the trails don't sleep. They hunt their owners. Every shadow hides a reckoning. Every mask breaks. And every betrayal is answered. Stay sharp. Stay unbroken. Stay tuned.